So Mayor, we're in the Ring of Honor, and I understand it's probably been over a couple decades, and a plaque has gone up here to commemorate.
Yeah, about 2 decades.
Okay, could you tell us a little bit about what the Ring of Honor is, and how does somebody actually go to get a plaque dedicated in terms of their service to the city?
It's a pretty long process when it comes to getting on the Ring of Honor. There's a committee that actually has to take in from the community several suggestions of who they would like to have here in the Ring of Honor. This is pretty much one of our highest accolades for our community members that are very involved within the community, through volunteering, through working through the city council or many boards around, around the city or the past area.
Okay.
So it's been a couple of decades now that we haven't had any action here.
Well, it looks like Mr. Heslop here, 03, Banning Mexican American Scholarship Association.
Yes.
Bridget Page from 2000, and then I think over here, is it Milo Johnson?
Yes,
I believe, and it looks like it's 02.
And just recently, we just induced Mr. Art Welch into this Ring of Honor.
That's fantastic.
He was suggested by the community to do this. And we as council, took it upon ourselves to vote on it, and it passed to where he's actually going to be induced to the Ring of Honor.
Well, I think it's exciting that you've kind of reinvigorated the Ring of Honor. And speaking of things, I understand we have a Banning Youth Council now.
Yes.
And could you tell us a little bit about how that got started?
Again, it was one thing that I saw a lot of municipalities starting youth councils, and I always, wondered why we don't have one. So I took it upon myself to put it on the agenda, and it took a while, but we're here now that we have a youth council. The youth is our future, and it's one thing that we want their input, because they're going to be the ones living here. They're going to be the ones providing tax dollars, buying homes, our economic powerhouse right there. Soon they're going to be having one of their first events, which will be at Sylvan Park. It's going to be a cleanup event on Saturday the 31st.
So obviously we know there are a lot of things that are going on in the city right now, a lot of development projects, things that are really happening. But what, in your opinion, is something that would entice people to say, Banning is the city that I want to move to. Banning is the destination spot. Banning is the place where things are happening. What is going on at that level?
Affordable housing is very important. We are rated pretty high when it comes to affordable housing compared to the rest of California.
Interesting.
So a lot of people do move here because they find it affordable to live here. There's a lot of projects that we have that are increasing the amount of homes that we have in the city as well, which hasn't happened in decades. We have our Outwell project, which is bringing about 5,000 homes.
Wow.
We have our Rancho San Gregorio project by the high school, and it should bring about 3,000 homes. The brand new Mission Heights idea coming from Loma Linda, that's going to bring another 2,000 to 3,000 homes. Beautiful homes that are going to be, up in the ridge by north side of Banning.
Mayor, you talked about affordable housing. You talked about, the process of making certain there is housing here so people can move into the area. And what a beautiful area they're going to move into.
Yes.
What about economic development? What about jobs? What are some of the things that the city is actually doing in respect to making certain from an economic development standpoint that we're ready for the future?
One thing that I took it upon myself when I was barely running for this position as a city council member about 4 years ago is that there was no movement in the city when it came to development, businesses coming to the city or wanting to come to the city.
There has to be a reason why they want to come here.
Exactly, right. And one thing that I took it upon myself is that I wanted to run on that I want businesses to feel comfortable to say, I want to do business with Banning. And just recently, we had the closure of the airport.
Yes.
With the efforts of Congressman Ruiz, with the Morongo tribe being having efforts in the.
In fact, I think Supervisor Gutierrez and tribal member Lugo were there.
That's right.
Standing right beside you and the congressman.
Charles Martin, the chairman, he was very involved with us when we traveled to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
To get the help of Congressman Ruiz, to get the help of Senator Padilla. And we closed the airport. It was a shocker for us because it took us so long, but we finally did it. And that's going to bring a lot of economic development into this region, not just Banning, but the Pass area.
Oh, absolutely.
There's talks of 2 movie studios actually coming because of the closure of the airport, you know, we have Grandave Studios that is going to take part into that airport, about 30 acres of that.
Wow.
And then outside of that, you know, Super Studios is also in talks of coming to Banning, you know. So that's two huge job creators.
So in other words, you're looking to the future, and
Exactly,
part of it is as you
100%.
expand and we build
Yes.
and we grow, we have to be able to make certain that we have the infrastructure in place to meet that demand.
Correct. You know, I want to, however long I'm here as a city council member, you know, helping the city thrive, I want to set up the city for the future, you know, and it's one of those things that I did not see in my time that, you know, past leaders would do for the city. And that's one thing I want to do, is I want to set up the city for success.
If I were to ask you, what does Banning look like in the next 10, 15, 20 years? What do you think the vision is?
Completely different. You know, we'll have an influx of many hundreds of thousands of probably new residents, hopefully, new businesses, you know, thriving in Banning. You know, we are in the I-10 corridor, which is extremely important, and that's something that we benefit from. You know, we can change the face of this city and the past area, you know, just by the choices that we're making now.
Well, Mayor, we want to thank you for providing us with a community update. It's always important. We love to hear from our electeds, and we're excited. As you said, the Youth Council is going to be doing one of their first projects, which will be at Sylvan Park, and that's exciting to see that the youth are really getting involved and they're wanting to make a change. And so thank you for helping to mentor them and to spearhead that as well. So greatly appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank
This
you.
is great.